only app I've ever bought is one called Essential Calls. So I just keep my phone on mute all the time, but the important people can still get through. My kids, my mom, my granddaughter.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah, that's true.
But I am like Pavlov's dog. If that thing goes off, I assume it's really, really important when it could be, not really that big a deal.
Yeah, I know.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want some water?
I'm fine, thank you.
You're welcome. Ollie, where's my phone?
I don't know where you put it. Are you comfortable?
I am.
Cool.
Thanks.
And how are you today?
Very good. Thank you.
This weather's awesome, isn't it?
I know.
mean, you can't beat it. Whenever just going outside and driving and even being able to put the sunroof open just a little.
See, I have a little Mazda Miata, and I'm giving myself big girl points today because I didn't drive over in the Miata with the top down.
Oh, you didn't. You normally do that.
Oh, heck yeah.
All the time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the hair for a. I've tried it and I end up getting someplace like, woo!
See, I have your hair and a flat iron, so I'm like, again, big girl points today.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
you've been getting your mic checked this whole
Indeed,
time.
yes.
Good. Well, I'm going to start out with simple. I just want a simple question or statement. If you can say and spell your first and last name for me.
Catherine Scrivano, Catherine Scrivano.
Okay, and what is your official title? What would you call yourself?
In
In
what
just-
world?
Well, and maybe in this world. I mean, I don't know. It depends. I'm asking for your supers, for your.
Yeah, so business, do your business title and then she'll get into what you do for the wife, but just for the, on
Okay.
the bottom of the thing.
Oh,
Because you're the Dorothy Willie Award but just for
In
business.
in
your
my
business.
professional world,
Yes, your
I am
profession.
the president of Casco Financial Group.
Okay, which is you founded, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about, and you could talk all day about it, women and finances.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get in this area? What was it like growing up for you? I mean, were you always good at money?
I'm still not good at math, by the way. I may as well publicly confess right now. What I saw very early on because of my mother's struggle as a young widow, my father died very suddenly. My mother was not prepared to be a single parent at 31 and had to figure it out. And she did a great job, but it wasn't easy. And I saw at 8 years old, I had a sensitivity or an awareness. I just saw what a struggle it was. There was a piece of me that saw how hard it was and determined not to be that vulnerable myself. I have a streak of independence that sometimes serves me well and sometimes not so well. But it was a great way to forge a career in helping other women just to have the information and be empowered, be independent, have the knowledge to make decisions, make choices based on strength rather than reaction.
Why do you think that is, as far as the financial world and the women's representation in the financial world? Do you feel, why do you think it might be intimidating to women? Is it because it's just something that women aren't brought up with? Or, definitely more and more women are getting in that realm, but what would you want to tell women who might be intimidated or they're just not financially fit themselves and they just don't know how to grasp it?
I don't know that it is so much a challenge for women to expect to be able to succeed. That certainly was the role or the model when I was younger. The men took care of the money. We do a class now that we call My Spouse Always Handled the Money, and it used to be titled My Husband Always Handled the Money, because that was the stereotype. Now, not necessarily so, but very often in relationships, one person or another handles the family finances. If that person is suddenly removed, the person left behind is really struggling to figure it out. What women do need to acknowledge, though, is we have special issues. We live longer, we make less money, and we are more likely to take time out of our careers to care for children, to care for family members, etc. All of those have a financial impact. They can be dealt with, although the impacts and the results can certainly be managed, but it needs to be strategic. If we don't even acknowledge they exist, then again, we're in the position of being reactionary versus having a plan. That's really what financial planning is about, is acknowledging the issues, having a plan to meet them, and taking control.
I want to get to your work with the YWCA and your classes and what you do
Uh-huh.
there. But I want to talk a little bit about how you got to creating your own company. How did you get there?
Through luck more than anything. I've just talked about strategy, and frankly, there wasn't a specific plan for myself. I worked with a partner. We had a good financial planning program. I actually was interviewed by the city of Phoenix to start doing some programs and offering some classes, and realized that there was nothing specifically for women, and very impulsively said, let me design it to be addressed or to be focused for women and women's needs. They responded, yeah, let's do that. And so almost as a retrofit, I started doing research and looking and seeing what issues are women facing and what information can we provide to help them. I'm acutely aware that in my industry, since I started over 30 years ago, women only make up about 20% of the financial professionals, and actually we've lost ground. The last number I saw was slightly more than 17%. So I am aware that if you want to work with someone who looks like you, another female who might have shared your experiences, it's kind of tough to find.
Why do you think that? Why do you think we've lost ground?
To be honest with you, I don't have good ideas. There's really no good data. The business itself tends to be kind of cliquish, and success breeds success. There's a movement that has just done what it's done, and it's kind of hard to change it. In my world, and I'm certainly not objective, the fact that I'm an independent financial planner, we're not tied to any product, to any company, that's unique in and of itself. So I think it suits a woman. Frankly, I think that very many of the life experiences I've had because I'm female also duplicate themselves very well in my practice. But believe me, we start every day fresh and figure it out. There's no track to run on. For some people, that's reassuring and it's fun and it's a challenge worth doing, and for others, it's way too much work.
Well, speaking of work, talk to me about your work with the YWCA.
The mission of the YWCA is to eliminate racism and to empower women. This fits perfectly with my feeling that everyone, male, female, wherever you are in your life experience, everyone has a goal to be, do, or have something. And to the extent that there's a financial component, we can help. And the YWCA, by providing financial education to women, that fills that piece of it. So seeing the impact of this financial knowledge on women and their families is so fulfilling, and it absolutely fulfills the mission of the YWCA. So it's very consistent with who I am as a person, what I do professionally every day. It's just an extension of that, but in such a broad access that I couldn't have any other way. It's very fulfilling to me.
I mean, do you have an attendee or a student, just an example of someone that has benefited from your information?
Oh, so many.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I know it's probably hard to pinpoint.
Well, I talk about one moment that was so impactful for me, that I very clearly remember because we were delivering our workshop at a domestic violence shelter. And I think I knew it on some level, but I had that aha moment where I realized that the information that we were providing and the ability of these women to use this information may be the difference between them going back to their abusers or being independent. And it was especially impactful because in this particular circumstance, the children who had been entertained by some volunteers while the moms took the class had kind of gotten away, and they were looking through the window to see what mom was doing. So you have all these little children's faces pressed up against the glass as I had that I'm going to get misty-eyed here. But talk about fulfilling the mission. Now, I don't have a way of knowing whether it did make the difference, but knowing that I got to be a part of what the YWCA was doing, offering, because you see those women, you see the lights go on, and for the first time, some of them very young women, some of them my age and older, all of a sudden understanding that they have control. They get to make some decisions that will impact their net paycheck, that will therefore perhaps empower them to live independently and not go back to the situation that they were faced with. What a privilege for me.
I mean, that could save a life.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And teach that child whose face was against the glass, we break that cycle. Now we have a whole new model to aspire to. It's enormous. Like I say, what an incredible privilege it is for me to participate.
And you can't put a cost on that, can you?
There's no price, no. No, there's no dollar sign in front of that. And I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about my own compensation for the experience. There's no way to put a dollar sign in front of that.
Well, I haven't congratulated you on getting this award.
Thank you.
Were you, how did you feel when Bridget, or when you were first told, hey, you are receiving this?
Humbled. Again, the experience, my affiliation with the YWCA is an honor and a privilege for me. I certainly don't need recognition personally. I'm the one who's grateful.
What words of wisdom, words of experience would you say, and you do say, to women out there who are just learning or want to learn? Maybe they don't want to learn. What do you do when you have women who they just don't want to have to deal with it? I'm going to take the easy way out and let somebody else do it. Let my husband do it. Let my boyfriend do it. What do you say to those people?
But they'll be ready at some point, and the YWCA will be there to help them. I mean, the YWCA has been around here in Maricopa County for over 100 years. I think they'll probably be there when the readiness is there. Younger women, I think, are more independent. Their expectation is not the same as my mother's. My mom at 31 expected to be a great wife and a wonderful mother. She had the opportunity to continue to be a wonderful mother. She did not have the opportunity to be a great wife until many, many, many years later. But in that interim, she became a business owner. She always had set the example of giving back to the community. Even though she was raising kids on her own and running her business, she was always a volunteer. So the expectation of community service was established from the very beginning. But younger women now, my generation and those that follow, we pretty much expect to take care of ourselves at some point. What we tend not to do is take the time to figure out how to make that happen.
Who have you looked up to throughout your life? I mean, I know your mom.
Sure,
definitely.
I've mentioned my mom. I've been so fortunate to have so many role models. I think all of us are. If we can pause and look nationally, internationally, we're just very lucky. There's so many great leaders and great examples. There's a woman who's had a huge impact on my life, whose name I don't know. She's Fred Rogers' mom. Remember Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers shared that his mom taught him that in times of challenge in times of tragedy to look for the helpers, and there will always be helpers. And that advice has comforted me so many times. It's comforting me right now as our country goes through a rough period, and my reaction and response to it is I'm pretty sensitive. But Fred Rogers' mom told me to look for the helpers, and guess what? There's lots of helpers out there. The YWCA is a helper and continues to be a helper. And that advice also inspired me to be a helper. So when you're looking for a helper in times of tragedy and times of strife, I hope occasionally as you're looking around you'll see me, that I'll be one of those people who's in there pitching in whatever the situation is, and that I'll be part of the solution. So I need to find out Fred Rogers' mom's name because she's been such a big part of my life for so many years. She's Mr. Rogers' mom, but isn't that great advice?
Yes, it is. It definitely is. Well, and you're a helper.
I
She's
wanna
kind
be
of
a
telling
helper.
you your future because you are a helper.
I want to be a helper. And I want to be an example for my granddaughters. So far that seems to be working very well. I've got some granddaughters that are making me very proud. They're raving feminists. One of them just wrote a paper for school, delivered a speech, part of which she rewrote Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, and talked about a time when hopefully her children and her children's children would be judged by the content of their character, not their anatomy. And I'm so proud of her I could burst. And she gives me a little bit of credit for setting that example because I brought her to the YWCA to stuff envelopes for the tribute to leadership when she was about 7 years old. I mean, these girls have been part of the YWCA as long as I have.
That's gotta feel great,
It's
though.
great. Oh, it's wonderful.
That's very special. Did we?
My thing is to speak about a little bit about your story, if you feel comfortable, about your needing to get out of marriage.
Nope.
No, okay.
I got real brave that one day at
Okay.
my house,
Okay.
and I'll never do that again.
So we will cut it before I ask that question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, yeah.
Did we? Did
It
we
was
touch upon everything
fabulous.
as far as that you
Yeah.
wanted to touch upon?
Don't show me crying,
Oh.
for God's
Yeah,
sake.
We
Who knew that
cried.
was going to happen?
I'm like a granddaughter, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm sitting back here. Okay.
I live by that rule. If you see me cry, I have to kill you.
Yeah.
I'll let you record me. Jeez.
Sorry. I'm
Nice
trying,
knowing you guys.
I'm trying to pause in between my laughing or whatever because I don't want to cut anything off for you.
No, you're good.
No, that was great.
That was awesome.
That was great.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you, and congratulations again.
Thank you. Thanks very
It's
much.
awesome.
That was awesome, Catherine. Very good.
Thanks.
Yeah.